Welcome, friends, to this series of learning containers and Kubernetes. So, in this particular lecture, we will actually install and set up a Kubernetes cluster on AWS EC2 machines. So, basically, we are going to set up a new cluster from the scratch, and in the subsequent lecture, we will see how we can run the service, how we can run the deployment, and how we can monitor those services and those deployments from the different monitoring Kubernetes monitoring tools. So in this particular lecture, we will actually follow the instructions, whatever we have on our GitHub. So if you go to this Learning Light in Cloud and K8s, that's the Kubernetes, and you can find these readme.md as well as one sh file that actually having the code over there. So we can expand this tree and you can see there are two files. One is the install k8 master.ksh and other one is readme.md. So now we are not going to touch up this particular file, install k8 master.sh. Rather, we will do it manually, one by one. We will follow the instruction and we'll create the EC2 instances in AWS console, and we will install the Kubernetes as documented in this GitHub page. So let's get started. So friends, this is our AWS management console. And first and foremost thing, we are going to create security group and we will provide some inbound rules over there. So let me create the security rules. And if you come down in this page and if you see that on AWS EC2, we need to open a couple of ports. So first and foremost is port number 22. And this is basically to install the Kubernetes from the SSH shell. So this is just to install the Kubernetes. And these all traffics for Kubernetes control plane and node port service, we are going to open these ports. So let's again go to this console and we are going to say K8 security group. Now we could also create a brand new VPC and we can create the subnets and we can use those VPC. But this particular lecture is completely focusing on how we can install the Kubernetes. So we can definitely create VPC, but right now we are fine with the existing default VPC. But in the real production system, definitely you need to have a separate dedicated VPC for your Kubernetes cluster. So here, first, we are going to open this SSH port. So what we will say, SSH, and we are going to open this for external world. And again, the other security groups you can open as it is mentioned 6443 for Kubernetes claims. So we can give this port range. And here specifically you can say this is going to be inside this VPC. So let's quickly go to this VPC console and let us see what exactly the VPC range, the CIDR range, the VPC is actually using. So if we go to this VPC console and we can go to the VPC, this is our VPC and we already saw this particular CIDR range that is 172.3.1.0.0.16. We are going to copy this one and we can provide this CIDR range over there. Similarly, we can add one more security group, inbound rule to allow this range of these ports. So over here, we can literally say this one. And again, for the CIDR range, we can provide the access internally within this VPC. So that's it. We are going to create the security group as K8SG. There is nothing changed in the inbound rule. So we are going to open this code for the inbound topic and let's create the security group. All right, our security group is ready. So let's go again to this EC2 dashboard and let's launch the instance. Now, in this particular demo, we are going to create the Kubernetes cluster on Ubuntu system. And specifically, we're going to install this on Ubuntu 22.04. And we are going to find with this change. And here we're going to install the Kubernetes cluster on two EC2 instances. So we are going to create two instances. One will be the master, other one is the worker node. And let us choose the T2 medium size of instance, and we are fine with no key pair. Now over here, we are going to use the default VPC and we are not specifying any subnet or any other things. But here we're going to say that we need to use the existing security group that we have created, K8SG. Once we are done, we're going to provide 30 GB disk space for each of these systems. And literally we are fine with everything. We are not going to change any setups over here. And we are going to launch the instances. So instances are being launched. In a minute or so, the instances will be ready. So once it is done, I will come back. All right, both of these instances are up and running now. Now let's name one of these server as master, and let's name the other one as worker. Name it as worker. All right. So let's open this. I'm just trying to connect to the master node over here. All right, I'm connected to the master node, and let me go to this root and let's clear the screen. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use this GitHub repository, and I'm going to paste these commands one by one, and I'm going to tell you what exactly these commands are actually doing. So first and foremost, it is going to update the OS kernel, and then we will install the Docker inside this machine. All right, so upgrade is done. Now we are installing the Docker, and then we will enable the Docker once the Docker is installed. Wonderful. So Docker is installed. Now we're going to enable the Docker, and next we are going to check the status. Definitely the Docker is up and running and we can see it's active. So that's fine. And now we're going to start the Docker. As it is up and running, we don't need to start it, but I mean, it's just the best practice to double check and do this thing. So now we're going to install the Kubernetes. Now, this setting up Kubernetes on Ubuntu system involves adding the Kubernetes repository to the apt resource list and installing the relevant tools. Now we're going to add the Kubernetes signing key, since the Kubernetes comes from some non-standard repository. So download the signing key to ensure the software is authentic. Now we're going to do the same thing, and now we're going to add the software repositories Kubernetes as it is not by default installed. Update our packages. Okay, so sudo apt update. Now this time 49 packages can be upgraded. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to install now from this library um, kubeadm, kubelet, and kubectl. So these kubectl, kubelet, and kubeadm are the tools those are needed to run the Kubernetes cluster. Now, as we have uh, linked our repository, now we are trying to install these three things. So kubeadm, kubelet, and kubectl are right now going to be installed in the master machine that we have marked for master because we are going to use this particular machine as a master in this Kubernetes cluster. Now we are done. So basically we can marking these three tools not to update automatically. So we are just disabling the packages for automatic installation, upgrade, or removal from the system. And now we can verify our kubeadm version. You can see this kubeadm is installed right now, and we are having this version 1.30.0. Now we need to deploy the Kubernetes. So first and foremost thing that we cannot use the swap space, and this swap space needs to be disabled. So we're going to disable the swap off, and then on the FS tab, we are going to disable this swap as well so that no way swap can be used. And now we are going to load the required container modules. And what we will do, we will add these two lines inside this container d.config. Okay. And this is what we're going to do right now. We're opening this a new file container d.dnf, and we are going to provide this overlay and net filter. So we're going to save this particular file, and now we can run these commands. Now these commands will use the mod probe to add in the modules. So whatever we have added in the container deconfiguration file, those needs to be added in the modules. Okay, now we're going to open a kubernetes.config file. Now this particular file we are going to open, and now this file is completely empty because we don't have anything over there. We are going to add these bridge connection details. Okay, so we are using these, we're saying these, the bridge NF call IP tables and IPv6 tables should be enabled, and IP forwards will be needed. So we are going to save this particular file, and now we are going to reload the configuration. Now, once we reload this configuration, you can see our bridge connections, whatever we have mentioned in the configuration file, those are actually got effective right now. Now, what we will do, we will set the master node as we are going to set the host name of this master as master node. Now, once we are done, we are basically going to use this master as master node in our host file. So what exactly we need to grab the IP address. So what we can do, we can open this etc hosts file, because we need to say this machine that whenever we are going to say master nodes, you just try to go ahead and use this particular IP address. And when we are going to say worker node, please go to this IP address. So once we are going to say this in master, in this FS, in this etc hosts, it will be this particular alias will be used for mapping this master node and the worker node. So let's go to this console and let me grab the IP address. So this is the IP address of this master node. Let me go over there and let me paste this as master node, and as well as the worker node should be the other one. So let me delete this part and let me grab the worker node IP address, and this is the worker node IP address. We're going to copy this IP address and let me paste it over here. And now let me save this file as well. Now our etc host is ready. Now let me go to this file once again. And it is saying that it is recommended to restart the complete machine, but it's okay. I'm not going to do that right now. Rather, I'm going to initialize the Kubernetes on master node. So I'm going to copy this kubelet file, and I'm going to open this file, and now see we can going to copy this particular kubelet extra arguments, that is C groups driver, C group FS. I'm going to paste this command in this particular file. I'm going to save this file, and my etc default kubelet is now having this argument with it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to restart the daemons so that whatever I have made the changes, that will be reflected in kubelet. Now, once I'm done, let me open this daemon.json file, and over here I'm going to say the native city driver is system D, because I just updated this driver over here, and this is a JSON file, and overlays also the storage driver is overlays too. So let me paste this in this session file, and let me save it. And once I'm done, I'm just going to reload everything once again. Okay. Now, once I do that, everything, whatever I have saved, it is actually been enabled. And now let me open the kubeadm configuration file. And over here, um, go to this particular line. And after that, let me copy this line and paste it over here. Once I'm done, it is basically setting the kubelet extra arguments that basically forcing the swap to be uh, disabled. And this is what I'm going to say in the kubeadm config file. Now, once it is done, let me restart the daemon and restart the kubelet as well. So you can see that kubelet is restarted. Now I am fine with initialize with the kubeadm with the certificates that, I mean, we are going to specify this as a master node, and we are going to upload the certificates. Now let me run. So once I'm running this, so the Kubernetes is actually going to be initialized. Now it will take some time to initialize the Kubernetes. In the meantime, let me go to this worker node, and I believe that it's the worker node. So let me go inside the worker node and let me connect to it. And on the other hand, I'm just going to install everything in the worker node as well. So if you go to this Git repository, you can see that up to up to here, we basically install everything in the worker node as well. So let me repeat the same process, whatever I have followed for the master node. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the worker node as well. So let me go to this super user, and let me first update this particular machine's kernel. Now let me go over here and install the Docker. All right. So Docker is installed. Now let me enable the Docker, and as well as let's start the Docker. All right, the Docker is started. Now let me add this repository, and then I'm going to update to have all these repositories in it. Once it is done, I'm ready to install these three tools of Kubernetes, kubeadm, kubelet, and kubectl. Excellent. It's done. Now let me disable for updating, and then let me verify the Kubernetes administration kubeadm is installed correctly, and let us disable the swap, and as well as from the FS tab, the swap should be disabled. And now again, open this container.config file, and over here, use this overlay and net filter, and then use these commands to have them in our Kubernetes cluster. Now open the kubernetes.config file to configure the networking. And over here, we are saying that we need the bridge network and IP forward as well. So let us install that one, and let us have these installed over here. So we are going to enable them. And now over here, we're going to set the host name as worker 01. Okay. And now over here, let me go to this master node. Now see, we are ready over there. The Kubernetes is already initialized. Now let us copy this host file, and whatever we have written in this master node, we're just going to copy this one, and over here we are going to say etc host, and let us paste this content whatever we have done in master node. And now our Kubernetes cluster can be initialized. Our Kubernetes cluster is now initialized, and now once we have initialized the kubeadm, it is saying that you can either join one master node in this cluster, or any worker node can be joined with this particular token. So let me grab this command and let me run it over here and see our worker node actually joined to this Kubernetes cluster. Now, once we are done till now, what we can do, we can go to this GitHub page, and let us scroll down, all down below. Once you can see, in our actually system, we have done up to this point. We have initialized this Kubernetes. Now, on this master node, let us grab this one. We can create this .q in the master node directory. So we can say .q. We are just going to create this directory, and then we're going to copy this admin.config inside this kubeconfig file. Okay. And once we are done, we are going to change the ownership of the kubeconfig file, and we can cross check that whatever we have done, whether it is properly showing as a permission. So we can see the permission is properly showing up there. Now, what we are going to do, we're going to apply the funnel manager to the master node, and this will actually allow to have this network to run properly. So now what it will do, it will actually deploy the config map and you can see this particular. Uh, Now let's clear the screen, and now we can unchain the node. So let me paste this one as well, and you can see the nodes are unchained. Now we can stop and disable this app armor on worker node, and we can restart the containerized service over there, and we can practically join these Kubernetes cluster over here. Now, let's see whether we can have these nodes. So, kubectl get nodes is the command, and we can see both worker and masters are up and running, and they can be communicating. They are actually communicating with each other. Okay. Now, if we run the same command from um, worker nodes, so we can say get nodes, we can see these particular nodes are not being recognized by worker. So that's the reason what we will do, copy this kubelet.config. So we are going to grab this particular command, and in the worker node, let us uh, paste this, and you can see this is actually, copying this kubelet.config inside the root kube config directory. And now, if we check this particular root dot cube, we can see this config is actually uh, pasted. Now it can refer this config file to get the nodes. So kubectl can so now kubectl can check the nodes as well from the worker. So you can see it is recognizing these control plane and the worker node through these kubectl commands. So thank you for watching this video, friends. So in this particular video, we saw how we can install and set up the Kubernetes cluster on AWS EC2 instances. So in the upcoming lecture, we will actually use the same EC2 instance Kubernetes cluster, and we're going to deploy a couple of services, and we will use this particular Kubernetes cluster for the deployment purpose, and we will subsequently use the different tools to monitor the Kubernetes cluster. So thank you for watching the video, friends. Please do subscribe the channel to encourage us for providing more exciting videos like this. Till then, goodbye and be safe. Thank you.